What's going on, everybody? Welcome into episode 44 of To the Show We Go. And we got Chris Enrique and myself, Andrew Parker. We've dropped a few episodes this week. If you haven't caught those, we had Blake Wehunt. He was a draft pick from the Red Sox this past year. We had Jamie Westbrook, who came over from the Yankee system, and he is the newest Boston Red Sox. So that was a great episode. And then we had Woo Sox manager Chad Tracy on as well. So if you haven't listened to any of those, please go check those out. We have our first Yankees guy on this offseason. I guess Jamie Westbrook might be considered still because the last colors he wore were Scranton for the Yankees. But we have Zach Messenger. Now, Zach, you got married just a month ago, so your offseason's been a little crazy. But I usually start these out saying like, hey, how's the offseason been treating you? So how has yours been?
Yeah, I mean, so far, best off season to date, especially if you ask my wife. I got married about a month ago. That was great. Got to see a lot of family and a lot of friends that you don't get to see very often. Had a couple of Yankees guys there, but that was a really good time. But other than that, I mean, I'm down here in Tampa. My wife works full time down here, and I get to go into the minor league facilities um, Monday through Friday and get my throwing in. Get my lifting in, being able to use world-class facilities and have everything at my disposal was a no-brainer. I grew up in Indiana. My family lives in Virginia now, and it's much warmer down here in Tampa in December and January leading up to spring training than it is up there. But we'll go back for holidays and stuff as well. But so far, off-season's been great. I've been loving the grind, loving every day, getting in the weight room. Taking every day catch play, every time I'm on the mound, trying to take it all in, trying to learn pitch by pitch, kind of see what I can make out of this year.
I was gonna comment. Your background there looks nice and sunny. I don't know if you can see out this window right here, but I'm up in the good old Northeast, and it's cold. It's like 20 degrees outside. Gets dark at 4:15, and I'm pretty jealous of the Tampa living this off season. So
Tough to complain down here.
Yeah, which I grew up in St. Louis, and you grew up in Indiana, so we kind of grew up with the same thing where it's like it does get cold, obviously, in the Midwest, but it doesn't stay as cold as long as it does up here.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, not at all.
All right, so I did want to dive into a little bit. You obviously just came off of a season where you saw two different levels. You were in High A, and then I think you got a very small glimpse in Double A with Somerset. So I guess just talking just baseball wise, like how did your 2023 go for you?
Yeah, I think as every season goes, there's ups and downs with it. I was pleased with how the season turned out. It was my first full professional season as a full-time starter. I came into the Yankees as a reliever, was a reliever besides some spot starts coming out of college. So about 2 months into my first professional season when I was in low A, the Yankees asked me to transition to starter during the season, and it was an opportunity that I was willing to grasp onto. And so having a full spring training off season last year of building up into that starter role, I knew there was going to be some give and take with it. So started off the year hot, and then kind of down towards the stretch, you kind of feel it a little bit. Threw more innings in one season than I had in about 4 years leading up to that between high school and college. But that's okay. And it's something that I see myself as a starter. The Yankees see myself as a starter. So that's the role I'm going to be pushing for. And I love it. I love being able to know every fifth day that it's my time. It's go time to go out there on the mound. I love the routine, learning new ways to go about week by week instead of having that every other day sort of mentality of like, all right, I got to go. Seventh inning's going to be mine. Having that time in between to, one, recover, but two, really have methodical conversations with pitching coaches and breaking down lineups and stuff like that week by week. So, yeah, I mean, there's always things to improve on. But all in all, I was pretty pleased with the season, obviously being able to finish in Double A. Just to get a taste of that was great. I was very excited. My family was very excited. Got to watch a lot of good baseball being played there down the stretch. It was a tough way to finish out in the playoffs in Binghamton, but yeah, being around those guys, being around the Double A clubhouse is just maybe want to get back into it that much quicker going into the season.
Yeah, and it's just a follow up on what you were saying on now that you're just focusing on starting. That was something you did at Virginia. Were you a full time starter when you were in college?
So I was majority of my innings were relief right out of the pen.
Really?
I'd say my first year at UVA, I had 4 or 5 spot starts, midweek starts. COVID happened my sophomore year. I think I had 1 start that year, and then another 4 or 5 at UVA my junior year. So more spot starts, more like midweek, kind of shorter inning, saving the bullpen type starts. It was obviously what I did growing up. I was a starter going into college, as most guys are, and then you kind of make that transition. So then I got to transition back in professional baseball, which was something I genuinely loved.
I feel like it's usually the opposite way. I feel like you always see guys that were predominantly starters in college go to the bullpen once they get drafted and kind of go up. But I feel like you did the opposite direction. So that is interesting to kind of see it the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have told me that, but like I said, it's an opportunity. When the my pitching coach in Tampa came to me and asked me if it was something I was comfortable to do, I jumped right at it. I mean, it's any opportunity I'm going to be handed in this organization is something that I'm going to trust, and something that if they have the confidence in me to be able to be a starter in the Yankees organization, then I'm going to as well. And every ounce of effort I'm going to have is to build myself to be the best starter instead of the best reliever in the Yankees organization. So it's a role I'm jumping into. I'm learning to love it again, which is great. And it's something I'm really excited to see myself build going in this season, seeing my innings go up and my workload go up, and go from there.
So this is going to be probably the second hardest question. Not really a hard question, but just not really tough either. I don't know how to explain it, but we've seen quite a bit of arms be traded out of the Yankee system this offseason, whether it's between the Red Sox trade and then I think they maybe sent one out in the Dodgers, or no, they sent out Sweeney, but they sent out 3 arms in the Red Sox deal. So there was a guy in AAA / Major League, there was a guy in AA, and then a guy that had just been drafted this year. But did you did it surprise you at all to see some of the guys go that did go?
Um, Person by person, I mean, it's always tough. You've got buddies, you've got guys you've met in spring training, guys you played alongside. It's tough to see guys go. Tough. I mean, Richard Fitz is one of my best friends, and you guys just picked him up. I mean, he's a really good baseball mind and just an all around good guy. And so seeing guys like that go off is tough. But you also, as their friends and as their colleagues, you respect their craft, you respect that what they're doing, and that other organizations see them as a good fit, and their organization is really good for them. It's new opportunities. And at the end of the day, it's the business of baseball. We're in an entertainment business, and we're in organizations that are here to make their orgs better, and they're going to seek opportunities when they see fit. So it's nothing surprising. I mean, we're the Yankees, and we hold a high standard at the big league level. It wasn't the best regular season for us last year, so we all kind of figured moves were going to be made, and with that comes a couple of tough goodbyes. But again, you're seeing buddies go off and have really good opportunities at potentially higher levels for other organizations. So at the end of the day, you just cheer on for their success, and then you get back to focusing on what our org is here to do, and it's here to win at all levels.
Yeah, and so I saw a lot of Greg Weissert, it just in Scranton when he would come to Worcester, and the guy is nasty. But I wasn't too familiar on Fitz, and with you guys being close, like what kind of pitcher are the Red Sox getting in Richard Fitz?
You're going to get a guy that throws a lot of fastballs and throws a lot of fastballs well. He's got a lot of good off-speed stuff, but Fitzy knows how to attack the zone, doesn't walk a lot of guys, a lot of strikeouts, aggressive in all counts. And he's also a workhorse. He's going to go late in the games for teams. So Fitzy's an all-around starter. He's been doing it at a big level. He went to Auburn for school. So he's gone through the SEC slate of baseball. And now he's going to do it at a high level for the Red Sox, which is really exciting for him.
Did I see as well that he has, I might be getting confused with Weiser, but he's got a pretty nasty mustache?
That'd be Weiser. Weiser's been rocking that mustache for a while. That one's tough to beat. And I mean, with the Yankees and their facial hair policies, you see a lot of good mustaches in and out of the organization. Obviously, guys that leave kind of take it with them. So I don't know. Maybe Greg might go full on beard. Maybe Fitzy, who's been clean shaven since the day I met him, might go full on beard. And we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I was curious about that. I forgot to ask Jamie Westbrook when he came on, but I didn't know. Is that so? That's like a whole org. That's not just the major league team. Like you guys in Somerset and in Scranton and below all have to have the facial hair policy.
Yep, part of it's part of the player handbook. Whenever you first get drafted, it's still part of it. So I've tried to rock the mustache a little bit. I didn't mind it. My wife hated it. So there's some give and take there. But maybe we'll rock it out again this season.
Yeah, no, it's I told Westbrook, I said that was the one thing that I that I always like took away is every time Scranton came in town, like I would see his face up on the board and he just had that nasty mustache. Like it was, and him and Austin Wells, like Wells was rocking one in the photo, and I'm just like, these guys, like that's an underappreciated thing. I know like the facial hair thing, it's like getting some heat because it's like, oh, why not just get rid of it? But you do have some good mustaches because of it. So
exactly.
I like that part of it.
Yeah.
All right. So going into it, so you obviously you were at UVA, but you're from Indiana, which I looked up where Chandler is, and I feel like it's in that like stretch where it's like so the closest city, I guess, big is Evans. I don't know if that's even a big city. Louisville, maybe
third largest city in Indiana. I believe really? Louisville's bigger, but Evansville's behind Indianapolis and Fort Wayne. So we hold proud of that. We try to let everyone know the state. But
okay. Yeah. My question was going to be, okay, so obviously you're from outside Evansville. I know Louisville's not too far down the road. But what drew you to Virginia?
I think part of it, I was looking for really an institution with high standards, both academically and athletically. And UVA had both of those. I had a really good relationship early on with Coach O'Connor, the head coach there, and the pitching coach at the time, Carl Kuhn, is who recruited me. And also, I spent 18 years of my life out in the Midwest, and I wanted to see what the rest of the country had to offer. ACC baseball is just up and down the board. You're finding powerhouses left and right, UVA obviously being one of them. They came and recruited me a year after they had won the College World Series and 2 years after they had lost the College World Series, both to Vanderbilt. So that was a tough no to start. That automatically put them at the top of the list, being able to walk on their field and see what was recent history at the time, but just how much success they have, the coaching staff and their knowledge and their ability to develop guys and get them to the professional level. A lot of that, like I said, academics is also very big in my family. I prided myself on academics, so taking myself to a university like UVA made it that much better, made it that much easier of a decision.
And so, speaking of academics, I was, just kind of peeping your UVA page, the player page there, and I saw that you were a media studies major. What made you decide on that?
Honestly, I took Intro to Media Studies my first year fall. It was one of the first courses I ever took. Going in, I thought I wanted to be a psychology major, and I found out very quickly that a lot of psychology courses went on between the hours of 1 and 4 in the afternoon, and a lot of college baseball practices are going on between the hours of 1 and 4 in the afternoon. So that was going to be a tough sell as it was. So kind of jumped into media studies, really not knowing what I was going to get myself into, and ended up meeting a lot of people in the news media world and the sports media world, people that I had no business in meeting, as far as like just how at the top of the line they are in their craft. So yeah, now it's something I'm really proud of. I went back to school after I got drafted and finished up my degree. My biggest concentration was in news media, but everything behind the camera. There's no reason for this face to be on camera any longer than it needs to be. But like I said, I got to learn a lot from a lot of very smart people with a lot of really good connections.
Yeah, it's a place like UVA. It's I would say like so I'm a Mizzou guy, so we're SEC bottom of the SEC normally, but not this year. But it's I would say especially well for baseball, it's like obviously like Vanderbilt's the powerhouse, like the team everybody wants to beat, but it's like Virginia's made a name for themselves, and it's and I feel like even like when you go to like journalism school and things like that, like Virginia's popping up on like up there on like with the Mizzous and UConns and Syracuses and all that. So yeah, I've never heard anything bad about UVA. So I feel like that's usually Chris Long that's hyping up UVA, but it's okay.
Yes.
We love Chris Long.
Yeah, he's pretty good at that.
I was gonna point something out. So I was not shocked at all to find out that you were 6'6" after seeing that both of your parents played college sports, basketball and volleyball. So is that something that runs in the family with like all your siblings, like just very tall family?
Absolutely, that runs down the line. Before both my parents, my mom's dad was very tall. Same on my dad's side. Yes, my dad, I haven't passed him up on height yet, but there's enough pictures to go around to say that I passed him up on height. But yeah, my mom played college volleyball. My dad played college basketball. I got three brothers. They're all 19. They're all off in college right now, not playing sports anymore, but they all played sports 4 years through high school. So we're a very competitive family. We embrace it. There's been a lot of very loud family game nights, and there were a lot of one-on-one and mini pickup games in the driveway and stuff like that. But yeah, just something that runs in the family. We take pride in it. We know what comes with being the big family of six, where everyone besides mom is over 6'2" when we walk into a room. So we embrace it. So.
Yeah, it's I don't know if you've ever been to Boston or Massachusetts or I guess New England, but it's there's a thing up here that it's which I grew up in the Midwest, so I don't really factor into it, but it's a thing called it's the land of short kings. So it's a lot of everybody up here short. It's like it's me and my fiance, like we kind of joke about it sometimes, but we tower over people, and I'm only 6'1", she's like 5'7", and it's like we're towering over people up here. Like your family would be probably everybody would think you guys are all like you used to play in the NBA or whatever. So it's a real thing, man. It's
That's
quite
right.
funny.
Yeah, no, which my brothers and I grew up with. Man, you guys are one shy of being able to start your own basketball team. We got that one a lot. But yeah, no, we love it. We love it.
Yeah, no, I bet. But yeah, like I said, you ever find yourself in Mass, Boston, whatever, it's like just know that you were told that it's a lot of short people, but
I'll
it's
keep
all
that
good.
in mind. Yeah.
So I had some little one-off random questions here, and I'm gonna just dive into them because I'm curious on. I've asked a few guys this week too some of these questions, and I'm curious what your stance will be. So one of my first ones, I want to know what your reaction was when you saw Shohei Ohtani's contract number.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone, not just in the sports world, but in general, looks at that and goes, "Wow, that's a lot of money." I mean, it's the Dodgers. They're known to go out and get their guys and use the money that they have to go get it. I think it's very respectable for the fact that Shohei wants to stay on out there on the West Coast. I mean, he just has to move a little further away from Anaheim, but still gets to be out there in LA. But I mean, when you got a guy like Shohei Ohtani, I mean, I think every penny's worth it. It's obviously he's doing things we've never seen before. He's one of the most athletic baseball players we've ever seen. And so it's obviously a shock. It's a lot of money, but it's really hard to argue that Shohei's not worth it at the end of the day with the stuff he's been able to put up. coming off an injury. Obviously, I mean, he's still one of the better hitters in the league by far. Hopefully, he gets to come back to pitching again because baseball's a lot better when Shohei's at full health and full strength and going out there and doing what he's doing. So.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. I feel like I even asked Westbrook about it, and he was kind of like, he was stunned, and he's like, I wish that I would have kept pitching and also hit at the same time. But I feel like a lot of guys were like, wow, I should have stuck with it when I was doing that in high school or whatever it was, right? But
yeah.
all right, so I feel like almost every pitcher, I would probably say 90. I would say it's probably higher, but at least that I've come across. Are you a golfer?
Yes, not a very good one. I've gotten a lot better, especially living down here in Tampa. There's courses everywhere and it's warm all the time. So most of my days at the complex are done by noon. I'm in there at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I get in, get my throw and get my lift in and get out sort of days. So I've picked up on golf again, not very good, but enough to be able to hold my own and go play with the buds. So.
Just like everybody else, man. It's
Exactly.
like we all,
Whole bunch of weekend warriors. We all are.
yeah.
Every single one of us.
What's the so my question here, what's the worst part of your golf game? No, you're good.
Probably my iron play. I'm pretty good from 100 yards and in, and pretty consistent on the putting green. I say this now, and the next time I go golfing, it's going to be the complete opposite. Can pretty consistently two putt. My wedge game is pretty solid, saves me from a lot of bad scores. Find a decent amount of fairways with my drives. It's just the second shot. I mean, I'd be what feels like a scratch golfer if I could just get on the green and two, but that's the toughest part for me.
Yeah, as long as you like I was thinking it's like, what kind of helped me with the golf was that it's I feel like it's the only hobby or sport that's not linear. Like the more you play, the better you get. It's so frustrating because you could literally play every single day and you're like, I am not better. Like I might be a tad better, but I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not going to be like John Rahm out there, like on the tee box just because I played for 12 years. It's like, it's not going to happen.
Exactly. The tough roller coaster to ride. Just a lot up and down.
Yeah, it helped me a little bit because it's like, once I think that I'm figuring out and I'm like, wow, like, I don't three putt anymore. I two putt or whatever it is. It's like, but then next week you're out here three putting. So it is what it is, man. But all right, I have a very important question. Please. On this show, we've had your episode 44. So every single show is a different guest. So I've asked 44. You're going to be the 44th person I've asked this question to. It is the most important. And I got faith in you just because you did live in Virginia for a little bit. So I think you're going to answer this correctly. So here we go. You're hungry and you want fast food, but you want fast food fried chicken. And every single option is a choice. So you want a sandwich or strips, whatever, for fried chicken. Where are you going?
Well, here's the thing. Am I allowed to have two different answers? Like, can I put a scenario or two out there?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Here, I'll pick one and then I'll explain my other answer.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A is just such a go-to. Like it's a staple. You find them everywhere, except when I was in Hudson Valley, the closest one was an hour away, which is ridiculous, but that's another.
That is weird.
That's another thing. But yeah, Chick-fil-A's are just too easy to come by, and you can get all different sorts of things. If I want strips, I'll go strips. If I want nuggets, I'll go nuggets. If I want a sandwich, like there's such a big menu with it. I will say though, guilty pleasure chicken place for me, and you can thank my wife for this, is Bojangles. Bojangles came out of nowhere. It was a dark horse that never had it before until I got to college and met my wife. And she put me on Bojangles, and Bojangles has gotten me through a couple weekends. And that place I think is slept on just a little bit. Very small menu. They do a couple things pretty well, and that's about it. But yeah, if I had to pick a go-to place, it'd be Chick-fil-A for me.
All right, wrong answer, but it's the most given answer on the show. Like I feel like I've asked it 44 times. I've gotten Chick-fil-A probably Gosh, I probably gotten it like 38 times out of the 44. And my favorite is Zaxby's, and
Fair.
I Zaxby's is good. It's just not
Yeah.
like all over the place. But
Yeah.
Bojangles, I love Bojangles. The what is it? The blueberry biscuit or whatever in the
Hmm.
morning. Oh,
Yeah.
that's gotten me through some mornings before.
Exactly. Those are tough to
Um,
beat. Those are tough
that's
to
our
beat. Yeah.
first Bojangles.
Yeah. Zaxby's was so they just put a Zaxby's in my hometown like right before I left for college. I don't even know if I ever went to it. Really wasn't in it. Zaxby's is up there though. I didn't give Zaxby's as much thought as I probably should have. I think Chick-fil-A is still over Zaxby's for me, but I'll also do a kick and chicken sandwich every once in a while too when I need it. So
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna. It's very consistent. I feel like that's like the
mhm.
overall theme. Every single person gives me with Chick-fil-A. They're like, you know what you're getting. It's the
Mhm.
exact same. You can get it in like every state. It seems like. I guess except for Hudson Valley. Like I guess you can't get it.
Currently, you got to drive an hour up the interstate from Hudson Valley and Poughkeepsie to be able to find a dang Chick-fil-A. But that's
Yeah,
cool.
that's crazy. You don't hear that very often anymore of having to
No,
drive that far to find one.
you're telling me. I spent 5 months up there and I was going nuts. Every road trip though, that was one of the first places we go find though, I will say.
Well, I live in an area where there are zero Zaxby's, so I'm going crazy. So once I get down to Fort Myers in February for spring training, that's the first place I'm going. So
Absolutely.
there's
Absolutely.
quite a
I don't
few
blame
up
you.
there.
Yeah.
So you obviously play golf a little bit. You know, do you watch it at all?
Um, a decent amount. You see it on a lot in a lot of clubhouses. Every clubhouse I played in, there's been guys that golf enough to where the golf channel's on, or if there's a big tournament and it's Sunday, we're going to put it on the TV before a game and stuff like that. I grew up. My dad likes golf a lot, kind of a weekend warrior sort of thing as well. But I grew up coming downstairs on Saturday and Sunday mornings before anyone else but my dad was up and it was on. So I like it. I think it's peaceful. I can sit there and just stare at the screen and watch guys hit good golf shots and sink big putts for 2.5 hours and look up and it's 2 o'clock on a Sunday and I haven't done anything yet. But
So my question was going to be, I don't know if you like probably have done like, I don't know, but I'm just going to ask it. So Shohei's contract, obviously crazy. Did you see John Rahm's contract with Liv?
I heard he went over to live. I figured it was for a lot of money. I honestly didn't look too big into the details of it.
Okay.
But
I had
I
to ask
figured it's a
because,
lot of money. It's how
yeah,
live rolls.
it's huge. So I was going to ask you which one you were more like surprised about, but if you're not really into golf as hard as some other guys, I get it. So,
I mean,
um,
I understand that there's obviously the background with live and everything, and I mean they're similar to a lot of sports organizations across all of North American sports, where some orgs have the money to go out and get their guy, and guys that are going to be headliners the second they put on that jersey, join the team, whatever. So, and John Rahm obviously is fighting for the number one spot every single year, and he's in every big tournament. How could you not want to go out and pay the money to have a guy like that in your league to build a brand that they're still trying to build? They're still trying to make bigger with every step they take. So again, I respect the side of the one point of owning such an organization as Live is to continue to build it. I mean, they're fighting, they're trying to beat out the PGA and TV deals and stuff like that. And to be able to do that, you got to go get the big money. So.
yeah, they're printing money. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's insane. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
all right. So switching lanes a little bit. How hard was it for you? You were a multi-sport athlete in high school. You played basketball and obviously baseball. How hard was it for you to give up basketball?
Um, Honestly, I'd say it was pretty tough. It's basketball is religion, especially high school basketball is religion back in Indiana. My wife and I were just there recently, and she walks in, and every Friday night game is packed, and the gyms are always huge. And she's like, "Man, this is just crazy. I didn't think it was like this. This gym is it's just so big. There's so many people there." And I was like, "This isn't even the biggest gym in our conference. I think this is the third or fourth biggest gym in our conference. Like it's stuff like that. I grew up around the tradition and the history and the excitement every Friday night for basketball in the winter. So, and I understand that not everywhere is like that. There's, I mean, they like to say that in 49 other states, it's just another sport. It's just basketball. So it's tough. My dad played it in college. Basketball was my first sport. I didn't pick up baseball until I guess later in my stages of learning sports and getting into sports and that sort of thing. So it was something that was a little bit tough for me, but I'm also not going to miss running up and down the court for 30 minutes at a time. I think I gave up basketball to go play college baseball, and I came back home in the winters to play basketball against my brothers, and they just ran me straight to the ground. Like that's a different kind of being in shape that back when I was a much skinnier kid, I could run around and play. So I miss basketball. I made a lot of my best friends are from playing high school basketball and growing up playing travel basketball. But baseball is just something that I could go out there every day and thoroughly enjoying the grind of it.
So would you I've never been to a basketball game in Indiana or anything, but would you put Indiana, like high school basketball, up on the same level that would or say like football is in Texas?
100% without
Okay.
question.
It's
Without question.
not it's not big like where I grew up in the St. Louis area, and
Mhm.
basketball was obviously a thing. I think it's a thing everywhere in the United States, but it was not big.
Yeah, it's I mean it's surreal almost as a high school kid to walk into a gym that's jam packed with that can hold 10,000 people for a regular season basketball game. And that's just how it is there. I mean, you see all these football stadiums in Texas that rival a lot of college stadiums, and they fill those seats up. And it's the same way in basketball in Indiana. I mean, small cities that close down. It's exactly. If you ever watch Hoosiers, it's still like that to this day. I mean, the
Wow.
whole city shuts down to come show support. Student sections, parents, former players, administration, everybody. It's like I said, it's religion, it's life down there.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
like you said, Hoosiers. It's like a movie pretty much, and that's you grew up like watching the Friday Night Lights and stuff like that with like
Hmm.
football in Texas, and you're like, wow, it's like that down there. Like the whole town shuts down. Like I didn't grow up in a town like that, but it's kind of cool
Yeah,
to hear that Indiana's doing that for basketball. So
yeah, 100
that's
percent.
it's not like that. It's not like that in the Northeast. It's not like that in the mid. Well, Midwest, I guess. I don't know if Indiana's considered Midwest.
Oh, we're definitely the Midwest.
Yeah,
hundred
I don't know. I got an argument about that. That's for a different podcast, different time.
percent.
But somebody was trying to tell me that like Michigan was the Midwest or Minnesota or something. I'm like, what? It's bordering Canada, but that's a
Yeah,
whole other
exactly.
discussion.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I have a few more baseball related ones before I don't want to take up your whole evening here, but I have a few last baseball ones. So for somebody that is not familiar with you, obviously you've gotten to make a start in Double A to end the year, so you've gotten your small brief taste at the Double A level. But for people that aren't that don't know you too well or know what kind of pitcher you are, like what kind of pitcher would you say? Like how would you explain like your pitching style?
Um, I try to go out there, and I'm very much. I like to be an aggressive guy as far as one, just my competitiveness, treating each at bat one as a chess match, but it's a one-on-one matchup. You get a guy out, he gets a hit, whatever. It's on to the next one-on-one battle sort of thing. Um, I like to use my brain to my advantage. I like to use my scouting ability, my ability to read a scouting report, see a guy's tendencies on paper and in film, and go out there and execute against them. Um, Love my slider a lot. My slider plays really well, righties and lefties. Being able to spot my fastball whenever my fastball's on, I feel like I'm pretty tough to beat. And I'm coming in with a new love for a changeup and a curveball that I've had since high school. So, but it's the fact is just I love each day trying to learn something new and getting better each day with baseball, and I think that shows out there on the mound where I'm able to go out there and even without my best stuff, get guys out ways, to get through that game, because ultimately I've got 8 other guys who I'm pitching for to get us through that game, to eat up those innings, to keep us where our offense can go out there and do what they do. So I'm very, very team oriented. I'm going to be the biggest cheerleader, whether I'm out there on the mound or in the dugout for our guys. I'm 100% committed to what I'm doing out there. But yeah, I like to be aggressive. I'll yell and scream sometimes at myself. But it's something that I just love so much. It's something, being out there and having the opportunity is something I'm blessed with and so passionate about. So
That's something we need more of, is passionate pitchers out there. I feel like all you ever see on like on the highlights and Twitter and stuff is a good bat flip and stuff like that. But I'm like, I need more pitcher celebrations out there, because nothing gets me more fired up as like a guy that's, covering a game than like when the pitcher gets a big strikeout and is just like lets it out. It's like we need more of that. We need to like normalize that. I know hitters don't like it. I get it, whatever, but whatever. I love emotion on the field, man. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's part of it. There's a lot of guys that guys can go out there and be stoic, and it's a lot of, again, it's, we can all go out there and get outs and have success in very different ways. There's times and places in games. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and show a whole bunch of emotion when we're up big or down big or anything like that. But there's definitely a time and place for it. If a guy wants to hit one 450 off of me in a very big crucial part of the game, they've been scratching for runs and something like that. Like, I respect it. I mean, this is a two-way street when it comes to this sort of thing. But yeah, don't be upset if I also get a big strikeout with runners in scoring position, and I respond accordingly. So
yeah, I like it. I think we need to see more of it. I think we're starting to, but so something I noticed what you had said about you found a new love for a changeup. So is that something that I was going to ask you before you said that, but then you kind of were talking about your pitch mix a little bit, but going from a reliever role to a starter role, did you find yourself in a position where like, okay, I need to pick up another pitch for my arsenal here?
yeah, so I came in. I've always had the curveball. It's the same curveball, same grip that I've thrown since high school. I was able to get high school hitters out on fastballs and curveballs. I went to UVA, developed a slider that I had a lot of success with, and with the Yankees, we've been really dominant in developing sliders, and you see it at all levels of our organization. And they did the same thing for me, so that slider's become a real weapon for me. But yeah, obviously being a starter, having something in your toolbox, like a good changeup that you can throw to righties and lefties, and you use it in the right counts at the right times, certain points in the lineup is obviously something that I want at my disposal. I'm always searching for ways how I can better myself and put myself one step ahead against that hitter in that one-on-one matchup. So yeah, it's something I'm taking pride in, being able to throw 4 pitches, all for strikes, all compete with those 4. I mean, it's one more thing that guy in the box has to think about. So,
Yeah, it's something I hear a lot, especially for guys that are transitioning the other way. Like I was talking about earlier, it's like I feel like just meeting a lot of the guys that were starters in college, and then they transition to the bullpen, and they're like, well, now I don't need to throw this extra pitch. But you're coming from the other way, where it's like, okay, I might need to add another pitch to, like, obviously like go longer in a game and just be able to throw different stuff to different guys. So definitely interesting to hear it that way. And I have one last question here. Also, I was seeing how depressing. I don't know if you can see out my window over this shoulder how dark it is, and your background is bright. But
the sun's going down a little bit, but I've still got probably another 20, 30 minutes. I see it. It's pretty dark. I
Holy
noticed it
cow.
earlier. That's funny.
My goodness, dude. It's that started happening at like 4 something. But all right, so I got a last one for you. I don't know if you're a goals guy or not, but I want to ask, not that if you have any goals that you want to achieve for next year, but outside of stats, like what type of things are you wanting to accomplish by, the end of the season in 2024?
I mean, obviously, there's not many better feelings as a minor league player, feeling whenever you get that call into the manager's office about being promoted. I didn't have that opportunity my first pro season. Last season, I got the opportunity right at the end of the year, right before our boys in Hudson Valley went off to make a playoff run, losing to the Greenville Drive of the Boston Red Sox, sadly. But yeah, it's one. I think I'd really like to see I want to see how I build as a starter. Having a full off season, learning from last year with a full season as a starter. I threw 108, 110 innings or something last season. Seeing myself build that to 150 plus, what that looks like for me. Being able to go longer in the games and find myself grinding just the same as I am in April whenever it comes to September and playoff baseball comes around, sort of thing. So seeing myself grow, it's tough too. Like, I'm an analytical guy, but for us to get to that next level, whether it's AAA, whether it's the bigs, whatever, it's tough not to pay attention to the stats, because stats are success in a lot of eyes of these front office people. And that is how it is. So obviously, like, getting the opportunity to get promoted, I'd love to be on a championship winning team. I think there's a lot of guys in this organization, up and down, that are going to be able to help us at all levels win championships. And whether I'm in AA, AAA, or what have you, wherever the Yankees see me as the best fit, just going out there and being a part of a successful team that's given the same passion for the game that I have. So.
And just this comment, don't feel bad about losing out to the Greenville Drive. They were an absolute wagon all season long. So
I've heard. Yeah, I faced Greenville when you guys had Meyer out there. You had Blaze Jordan out there. You had all your boys early on the season there, and a beautiful ballpark, by the way. I loved playing in Greenville. Fans showed out. It was loud. There's energy all over the place. You could feel it in the dugout. You could feel it out there on the mound. A really fun place to play. That team was loaded, and you had guys move on. And from what I could tell, I mean, it was just kind of like next man up mentality. So.
Yeah, I think Greenville is sneaky, like, underrated, like, baseball aside, like, just as a town. Like, I enjoy Greenville a ton. I feel like there's a ton of stuff to do down there. It's very, like, it feels like it's very clean. Like, I don't know. I enjoy Greenville. And I think you're going to enjoy playing in Portland. It's a whole different vibe, but it's right there on the coast. It's in Maine. Yeah. Like, it's pretty cool. So
yeah, that's tough to beat. Maine in the summers. I did a summer ball stint after my first year at UVA up in the Northeast, and the New Hampshire and Vermont. We played in Maine a couple of times. So really enjoyed it up there. I'm excited to hopefully get the opportunity to be back up there this year.
Were you playing in that league that the Silver Knights were in, like Nashua?
No, I was in the NECBL, the New England Collegiate League.
Okay.
I was on Keene Swamp Bats out of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't know, because I live in the town that the Nashua, I think, Silver Knights. I think they're in a different league, but all right. Well, I just to finish it off, I didn't even ask you about this, but going into the spring training, there's going to be a little more. I feel like there's going to be quite a few more spotlights on the Yankees spring training side due to a pretty big acquisition that was made. So have you, like, kind of thought about it? You're like, this is going to be, like, cool to watch, or like it's going to be kind of fun?
I mean, obviously every spring training, having the opportunity to be around guys like Garrett Cole and Aaron Judge and those guys I watched growing up, even before I got to college ball, and having the success that they've had. But it also comes with being a part of a Yankees organization, right? Like, this is the Yankees that I grew up with big names, a lot of media attention. They go out there and they do their thing, and they win a lot of ball games. So it's going to be exciting. Obviously, yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a little busier around the complex, but it's as it should be. I mean, we're going out as an organization, and we're committing to winning. We're committing to doing what we need to do, using the resources that we have to go out there and do it. So it's, as a player in the Yankees organization, this is the way of life. This is business. This is how we roll. So I think it's a very exciting time for our organization. I'm excited to see everyone show out for big league spring training games. Hopefully, get the opportunity to be around it a little bit this spring and kind of feel the energy that's going to be there.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, man. That's the Yankees that I think everybody is. I mean, I was born in the '90s. Like once I was getting into baseball, it's like it was Red Sox Yankees. So,
Mhm.
but Zach, appreciate all the time, man. I mean, you gave us 45 minutes. We lost Chris along the way. Don't know what happened there, but
So,
we still trucked along. But
yeah,
thank you so much for the time, and I'll probably be seeing you throwing in if you're throwing in New Hampshire or
yeah,
Portland. We'll be sure to link up. But
absolutely.
definitely best of luck with the rest of the off season and being a newly married man. So that's
Yes,
exciting.
thank
But
you, thank you.
thank you for hopping on.
Absolutely, Andrew. I appreciate it. Thank you.